Welcome to another edition of Insurance Questions Podcast, episode number 115, Wednesday, July 31st. Sarah, you look so different today.
I look better, don't I?
Whoa. So just so our viewers know, every once in a while I slip and call Sarah Sharon. This is the Sharon that we're talking about.
That's right.
Let me just do some house cleaning first before we get started and playing around.
I think it's housekeeping, not house cleaning.
Whatever, Donnie, you fancy pants, you.
Tyler does the cleaning.
Look whose hobby's being snobby, Donnie Lowe. So
we always have the same haircuts, I'm noticing.
Yes, you do too. Just you have a little bit more hair than he does.
Yes,
all right,
exactly.
Sharon. Wow, Sharon with the shot. So all the comments and opinions by Eddie Buffalo, not Sassy Sarah, Sassy Sharon today, and Donnie Lowe are purely for entertainment purposes. Do say your thing there, Donnie Lowe.
All right, I'll substitute for Sassy Sarah. So like, subscribe, download, view the podcast, hit that fan mail button, send us questions via text, through your social media, whatever it is. We'd love to answer and engage with you that way. And just like what we're doing. We appreciate it.
So Sharon, who are you? Do I owe you money? Is that why you're here? What's going on?
You probably do owe me money.
Get in line, lady. Get in line.
But no, so I am Sharon Raiders. I'm with Keller Williams and the Vaughn team, and I'm a realtor. What is what?
What is Keller Williams?
Keller Williams is like the greatest real estate team. It is the greatest real estate team in the world. We are a worldwide real estate team.
Wow.
Yes, we have real estate companies worldwide, international. We're all individually owned and operated, though. And I'm with the Vaughn team, and we have both residential and commercial real estate, so we can cover on both ends.
Awesome.
So if you're trying to cover your end, call Sharon is what she's saying.
So the Vaughn team, do you ski? Do you have to, is it a prerequisite to ski? Wasn't it?
I was thinking Von Miller. Von Miller.
Oh, no.
I see, so. But it's not a prerequisite. No, you don't have to ski to do business with us. No.
Okay.
There's two things you don't know about her, Don. She is an awesome member of Bill's Mafia.
Oh,
I am.
Great.
Even though her family loves the stupid Denver Broncos. I don't care. People in Denver, just deal with it, okay? Did you see what John Elway said yesterday in an interview, Sharon?
I did not.
His one mistake as GM was not picking Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a big mistake.
I mean, he picked Bradley Chubb. I mean, he's good, but I'd pick Josh Allen over a running back any day of the week. I don't care who it is. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's Barry freaking Sanders. Yeah, you're going to do okay with Josh Allen, you know?
Thurman Thomas is going to feel slighted now.
And you can talk about this as little or as much as you want to. Sharon, how are you feeling? I know you hate it when I ask that. Sharon is recovering from cancer treatment.
Yes. And I feel great. I'm actually having surgery in 2 weeks yes, this is not a children's program for me right now, to get new boobs put on. So I'm doing great.
Did you take my advice? How you getting a big old?
No,
I think you should. I think both of them should be like the size of Donnie's head. I think that would be fantastic.
No,
I think that'd be bigger than your head, you know. So
no.
Your boobies would show up before you did.
No. You're going to
be ego running for president.
How many
I'm not
days?
fulfilling your dreams, okay? You don't have to.
How many days after your surgery can I come and scope out your boobs?
Oh my
Um,
goodness. Oh
no,
my goodness.
they're not for you. Okay.
Oh,
Boy,
damn
this is
it.
going downhill real quick.
Damn
Sharon,
it.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
I got a bone to pick with Sharon. So about a month ago, she called me, hey, you want to come to trivia night? I'm like, oh, yeah. And number one, I thought it was like a thing at her house. I didn't know it was a thing through her work. And she canceled it. I think she canceled it because she knew who she was dealing with. And that my just huge amount of useless knowledge in my cranium would wipe out everybody.
It's true.
No, that was not why it got canceled. It got canceled because the place where we were having it at double booked the room.
Losers.
Yeah.
Losers. Mistakes
Yeah.
were made because you missed out on a fun night with Eddie Buffalo and Sharon.
Well,
Sharon, the Los Angeles Raiders.
yes. We will be rescheduling it though in the spring and you will be reinvited.
I had. Did you notice my addition to the set behind me, Sharon? My palm tree. That
Oh,
is
that's
Paula,
a
the
palm
Queen
tree?
Palm. Queen
That's a
Paula
palm
palm
tree?
tree.
Yes.
Awesome, isn't it? I know.
That's
I
a
know.
palm tree?
He's so
So
proud of his $9
I know. I
99
am.
cent
I am.
investment.
And I just have a little update on my coffee machine
Oh yeah.
situation. New coffee machine came yesterday and it has like the Keurig-ish side on one side and a full pot of coffee on the other side. I'm like, I'm never going to drink that all day long. I'm going to waste coffee. I said, screw it. This morning I'll try it, see if I can see how it goes during the day. And I hit the bold button because I'm a bold guy. I'm pretty bold. And I did 12 cups, and when you hit it on bold, you only get 11. And I pulled out my Eddie Buffalo cup for Insurance Questions podcast that is going to be available online for $39.99. If you want some, just reach out to us at www.ebiagency.com or our hotline 716-306-2020. And it holds, how many cups of coffee does this hold, Sharon?
11.
No. How about you? You already know, Don, because we
You
talked
gave me
earlier.
the answer.
7.
Oh, 7?
So I think I have a drinking problem. I gave up booze for coffee.
Did you try the
You
experiment?
drank, you, wait. You gave up booze?
Oh, I haven't drank booze in ages. Probably since December.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Yeah, but
So
he's
I act like this straight. That's pretty scary, right?
well, it's the coffee and the Pop Tarts.
So
The Pop Tarts.
Yes.
love Pop Tarts. Pop Tarts are the best. You want some Pop Tarts? I could go get some right now. I can't share it to you through the interweb, but you can enjoy watching me enjoy it. You know?
So did you try dipping the Pop Tart into the coffee yet?
No, I can't get it in the little hole.
Ah,
It just don't fit.
that's terrible. There's got to be a way around that. I don't know.
So,
I have to think about that one.
if you're coming into the show late, this is the Booby Pop Tart Hour with
Oh
Eddie
my
Buffalo, Donnie Lowe, and Sharon Radas. So Sharon is subbing for Sassy Sarah because Sassy Sarah did her nice motherly duty and took her daughter to the airport. And lo and behold, shocker, there's traffic in Dallas, Sharon.
Shocker.
Even towards the airport, there's never any traffic around there, right?
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay, so I
But
want you.
depending on where she was coming from, I guess, because
I'm guessing it's
there was a
DFW
couple of
because
accidents.
Lovefield isn't that bad.
Yeah, it really isn't. So it depends on where she was. Yeah.
Did you ever wonder at Love Field that one exit is Mockingbird Lane? Do you think the guy that invented the monsters is from Dallas?
That invented the monsters?
Monsters. You're
Munsters.
too young to know who the monsters is.
Yes. I mean, that was probably a little bit before my generation, but I do know who they are.
Wasn't it 13 Mockingbird Lane?
1313 Mockingbird.
1313.
Let's get it right, Donnie.
All right, I
If
was
you're gonna
halfway
talk,
there.
you're gonna talk pop culture. You're messing with the king right here, baby.
I know.
So, you picked a really good day to sub, and I want to thank you for subbing. It was like the last minute thing.
I know.
I called like 10 people before I got to you, so you were our 11th choice.
Oh,
Not true.
thanks.
Not true.
Thanks. Now I feel really special.
No, not true.
But I want you to get your thinking cap on because we're going to start answering some viewers' questions. And at the end, I'm going to have you ask a question. Does that sound fair?
Oh, I already got my question for you.
Oh, awesome. Well, why don't you hit us with it now? We'll start with a big question.
I know it's a simple. It's got a simple answer though, but it's just a good question, especially since we already talked about my boobies and cancer. So I figured, why not say
for the memories?
Can I get life insurance?
Huh? Ooh, good question, Don.
That's a great.
How about
that's
somebody
a great
that's
question.
recovering from cancer? Can they get life insurance?
Typically, I would say no. There's a waiting period where you have to be in remission.
How long, Don?
It depends by company, but the average is 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years after what? Specific?
After remission. You have to be in remission for 10 years.
If you're fortunate enough and Keller Williams actually offer you insurance through work, get it, because most of that's guaranteed, and they don't really care what you're having as long as you're paying your premium, pretty much, Don. Yeah. They ask you a couple questions and that's about it. So yes and no, Sharon. So if your employer does have it, yes, you could probably get it. But to get it on your own, you got to wait out 10 years, kiddo. So let me ask you this, Don. Do you think it would be easier to get insurance for Sharon or her boobs?
I don't even know where to start with that. So I'm going to deflect that question back to you.
Once again, the Booby Pop-Tart Hour is brought to you by Eddie Buffalo.
I think we're going to be censored, and
that's what Tyler's good at. Poor kid's going to get carpal tunnel hitting that beep button with me.
No.
Yeah. They actually beep us now, Sharon. That's how fancy we are now.
Yeah. So beep you.
So yes. I got to tell you something, Don. I was telling you this the other day. Was that like 2 weeks ago? I called you, Sharon, about. Yeah. And every once in a while, I'll listen to Spotify, one of our 31 channels our podcast channels that we're on. Right. And I'll listen to the most recent podcast, and then it goes to the next most popular. And it's all the time, it's usually the Freaky Friday one where I was pretending to be Sassy Sarah. But to my surprise, what was trending?
Me.
Sharon Raiders.
Yes.
And tell our listeners what you were telling me and Don, why you think that's happening.
So I'm getting a lot of leads through my business, and I noticed I was going down my Facebook page, and the first, the show that I was on with you is on my Facebook page. And so I came to the conclusion that as people are searching me, because people love to do their social media searches on people.
Yep.
They're then watching the video from my Facebook page because it's on there.
And now you're going to have another one. Holy crap.
No, now I'll have another one, yes.
Wait till you get the invoice for how much I'm charging you for
Oh, you forgot to tell her.
Yeah. It's in the small print, Don. So my question is, like I said, Tyler's going to be editing this video, and he's going to be putting your title and your name. Do you want Tits McGee or Boobs LaRue? Which one do you prefer?
He doesn't stop.
Neither.
It's the coffee, I tell you. It's the and the Pop-Tart.
Get a Pop-Tart.
Okay, he's always like this without coffee. I think coffee might bring him down a little bit because they actually say people with ADHD, caffeine kind of settles that.
Once again, Sharon, I don't have ADHD. I have BAD. Bad.
No.
So let's get started with the show because we have a bunch of questions. Thank you. That was a good question. And by the way, I am really happy you're doing well, Sharon, and I can't wait to see your boobs. Anyways, let's start off with Brady,
One of these
22.
days, I'm just gonna go, and you're gonna be like, "Wait,
Oh,
I wasn't ready. I
whoa, whoa,
wasn't
whoa.
ready."
Tyler, can you do that? Can you cover that up? Put a little pasties on there. So our first question is Brady, 22 from San Angelo. Where the hell is San Angelo? I don't even know.
San Angelo,
When?
California, or San Angelo,
Beats
Texas?
the hell out of me. I don't know. Be a little bit more specific next time, Brady. Okay, buddy. When should I get insurance, Don?
And how old is he? 22.
22.
Well, probably yesterday, as we
Yeah.
like to say, because now, um, really, the sooner the better. Because especially if you're healthy and you're young, right? 22 is very young. Your premium rates are going to be as low as they'll ever be in your life. So now is the best time.
And it's funny having Sharon on. It shows people how fragile life is.
That's right.
She didn't expect to get cancer. I mean, she
Yeah,
didn't
you don't want
expect
to be
it.
told on your birthday you have breast
Oh, that was
cancer
pretty
or any
awful.
cancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy birthday! You got cancer. Can't
Yeah.
give it back. I don't got the receipt. But I mean, if she would have gotten her insurance before the surgery, wouldn't even be that question would have not even been asked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
interesting. And we are repeating ourselves a little bit, but it's the same questions over and over again. So obviously, it's a concern for a lot of people. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But
okay,
I'll chime in just on that, just since,
yes,
we were talking about breast cancer. I belong to a lot of groups now on social media, and breast cancer is not something that, people get at just any one particular age. It's not something that women, get at, the age of, 50s or 40s or 70s or 80s. There's women out there that are getting it at 22, 24, 25. And it's
Yeah.
not something that, is just genetic or, because you're a certain race or anything. It's out there. Like there's
Yes.
so many causes, reasons, or, things. It's not a health thing. I've seen so many women that are like extremely healthy. Um,
It could be environmental. Just
there's just
and men can
no
get it too,
trace or
right?
reason for it, and men can get it too. Yes. So it's very important, yes, to just like for to just yes have health insurance, and I mean and health life insurance, because yes, you can get it at any reason for no reason at all. It seems.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's
It's very
like I
true.
said, you just never know. Life is
Yeah.
fragile. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on to Dominique, 37 from Dallas.
There we go.
So maybe we are very Texas centered if the last gentleman was from Texas. Because I know we have somebody local from Greenville coming up too. Dominic, 37 from Dallas. Pretty open question. Can I get a loan from my insurance?
It depends. Is the answer. It depends on what type of life insurance you have. So if you have what's temporary or term insurance, there is no cash value in that type of policy. So no, you cannot
No
take a
loan.
loan against your policy. If you have a policy that has cash value, typically a whole life insurance policy, which is more of a permanent insurance because you keep that for your whole life, yes, you can if there's enough cash value in there, and you need
Oh,
to.
wait a second, Don. So if I get whole life insurance for $100,000
Mhm.
tomorrow, after it gets approved, I can get $100,000 loan.
No. So it
Why not?
typically takes a few years to build up that cash value where you can start to draw against it if you need to or want to. Um, and again, it depends on. So $100,000, is it something that's being paid for your whole life or till you age 65? Or do you want to have it paid in full in 10 years or 12 years? So in that case, the cash would build up much quicker than if you extend the premiums over a longer amount of time. So if you start early, start young, you can use some of those funds. You build up that cash value, use it for college, use it to buy a car, down payment for your first house, whatever you want. So
And
yes, you
this goes
can.
back to a conversation I had with a young man a couple weeks ago. It's like, why do I need insurance when I'm this young? I go, okay, what are you doing? He go, I'm a college student, business administration. I go, okay. Say 2, 3 years into your college career, you say, this isn't for me. I want to start my own business. I'm 23 years old. I don't have any collateral. I don't have a lot of money. I have a poop ton of college loans now. And if my parents were smart enough and they got that whole life insurance for me early, you could actually use the cash value or the whole loan as collateral for a business loan. Did you know that, Sharon?
Yes.
She knows everything, that Sharon.
But
Let me tell you, nothing stops her.
I
Nothing.
would I would like to just rephrase one of the words that you said.
Okay.
You said if your parents were smart enough. I
Yes.
would say no, if they were educated. If somebody told them about that.
Good way of saying
Hey,
that. And it make
if
people
y'all been educated
small.
about insurance, y'all can get that loan. How's my accent working, Sharon? Pretty good or pretty bad? Oh, and to the lady last week that gave me crap about not liking sweet tea as she was drinking a Pepsi, screw you, lady. All right, it sucks. Sweet tea sucks. The
That's
comments of
true.
Eddie Buffalo are just of Eddie Buffalo and nobody else.
That's right. Let's move on to the next question.
Okay,
Yes.
this is a good one. Carol, 70 years old, from Rhode Island. Do I need insurance at my age? And is the age limit to hold that insurance policy 100 years old?
Oh, okay. So
I mean, you're
again,
98, so this is really timely for you, Don.
yes, exactly. Uh, it depends. So it depends on what your
Seen that a
financial
lot
picture.
today, Don.
Well, it's so true because every situation is
I liked
unique.
it better when you said that's a good question all the time. You know?
I'll probably come up with that
So we're gonna have
response.
a new drinking game. When every time Donnie says it depends, you do a shot. Whatever you're doing, that's up to you. Not my business. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Don. Go ahead.
No, so it's probably not a bad idea for most people to have some form of life insurance, especially if they have a family or they want to, create a legacy after they're gone, even with a nonprofit organization, if not a family. So it is a great thing to have that. And a lot of the policies, so the question was if she lives to age 100, is her insurance still in effect, right? In essence.
Pretty
Uh,
much, yeah.
yeah, yes, absolutely, it's in effect, and as long as the premiums have been paid and all that, of course. But whole life insurance, especially the death benefit coverage and the premiums are based on that. They go to age 100, but if you say live to 105, your insurance policy is still valid. It's still in force. All of
I
that.
I don't know if you've noticed, Tom, but a lot of the carriers that we do work with, some of them go up to 120.
I think it's 121, I
Oh
believe.
wow,
Yeah.
even more than I thought. Because it's
People are
really
living
crazy.
longer.
Yeah.
I know, right? So it's crazy, Sharon. The actuaries say that somewhere out there walking this planet is somebody that's living right now that's going to make it to 150. It
Well,
ain't going to be me. I aggravate way too many people. Somebody's going to kill me one of these days.
it won't
It'll
be a
be, it'll
natural
be,
cause.
it'll be justified homicide. Let me tell you.
Yeah. No, so if the policy is calculated based on age 121 instead of 120, the premium's a little bit lower actually,
Why is that, Don?
because you're extending that premium payment amount
Hmm.
longer to 120 age 121 instead of age 100.
Hmm. Very good. That was a good one. Now, I don't know if I'm saying this name right because this is a kind of a interesting name. I've never seen this name before. It's Mia Brex, Miabrex, 37 years old, from Schneider, Indiana. Wasn't that the guy on One Day at a Time? Him and Ann Romano?
I'm not
Schneider,
sure.
the come on.
I
Yeah,
didn't
whatever.
watch that.
One day at a time.
Yes. So Don, she wants to know what is the free look period and what does that exactly mean?
So now I'm not going to say it depends. I'm going to say that's a great question.
Ah, do
But you just
shots, everybody. Donnie said it.
said it.
What was that, Sharon?
But you just said it.
Well, yes, I
Do
did.
another shot then, Sharon. Knock yourself out. I don't judge. I don't judge you.
Perfect, perfect. So the free look period is once you file your application, for a policy, and we go through that whole process, and it's approved, and your insurance agent comes to deliver the policy. Um, you don't have to accept the policy. You can basically, I decided that it's not in my best interest. I don't want it, or something came up and now I can't afford it, or whatever the case is. You do not have to accept that, but you do have, and I think it depends by. I believe there's two variables: the state that you're in, and the insurance company that provides the policy. Anywhere from 30 to 90 days, where you can say,
Oh,
you
I
know
didn't
what,
think it was that much because a lot of them are 10 to 14 days done.
yeah, yeah. I think
And
I
the
think
more restrictive states like surprise, surprise, New York.
New York.
Shocker. Shocker.
Yeah, but
I,
there is some time where you can. It's kind of that free look, and if you want to cancel it, you can cancel it
I'd
and
like to
get your
piggyback on that,
deposit
Don.
back.
I'd like to
Hmm.
piggyback on that, going back to a question that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now, say if we go to take delivery of our policy, and I'm like, getting 100 grand, but you know what, Don? I think I need more. Can I get more before I pick up that policy? That
So
depends.
it
Shots,
does
everybody.
it does depend. So sometimes what we find is somebody might apply for $100,000 policy,
She's
and
doing shots
that's the
again, that
spirit,
Sharon.
Sharon. Way to go, tilting the head back with that imaginary shot glass.
Taking it
Um,
down like a champ.
So we might and submit the application based on, maybe we'll just say it's a non-tobacco user, just standard health. And after going through underwriting, the company comes back and says, you know what? No, we can have this policy as a ultra supreme, as an example, meaning the premium's going to be lower than what we originally entered the policy for. So in that case, the insured would have two options: accept the same amount of coverage, $100,000 at a lower premium, or the insurance company may say, well, for the same premium, instead of 100,000, you can get $150,000 worth of coverage. So that's how that would
That's super
typically.
important, you know. And I'm glad we talked about that, Don, because it's funny. The first year of the pandemic, Sharon, it was insanity because they were putting through everybody through underwriting just because the world was on fire even more then, and they didn't know where any of our businesses were going, you
Mhm.
know. And
Yeah.
then little by little, it got tougher to get people insurance. But I got to be honest, Don, with the more being more strict with the underwriting, I think I've had more people getting Ultra Premier now than before the pandemic, before this all even started. How about you?
Yeah, no, I think seems to be the same percentage wise, for whatever reason. Although what some of the insurance companies did post pandemic is, so they would not require any lab draws, like
Hmm.
bloods or anything like that.
But you
Um,
had to add that to your notes, so Don, your agent
right,
note.
right. So, but the stipulation was,
Hmm.
once the pandemic was behind us, the insurance companies did have the right to go back to the insured and say, okay, now we need to verify, we need a lab draw,
I
or
didn't know that, Don.
yeah,
I didn't know
some of the
that at
companies
all.
did that.
Because I know, like, a lot of them, how they wanted us to write the policies was that, client, does not want to have a blood draw, urine, whatever, because of the pandemic going on. And they understand that the best rating they can get is the non-smoker rating. I mean, I wrote a lot of policies like that.
Yeah.
That you're not giving them the world at all.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
all right, Don, you ready? This is a good one. We're getting to the good ones now.
They're all good.
Ike, gotta love that name. He was named after Eisenhower. Gotta be right.
Yeah.
Or he named after Ike Turner, which that'd be unfortunate.
That would not be good.
That would not be good.
Hey, not. He's local. Well, to me, anyways, in Greenville, Texas. Does life insurance pay if you die in a tornado?
I would say it does pay. Well,
it depends, right, Don?
Yeah, because I know there are some things with natural disasters or whatever, but no, I believe that would pay.
I mean, the only thing, like what Don's talking about, Sharon, like say if we're unfortunate enough to be drawn into a war,
yeah,
and you die because, say, Keller Williams got bombed, and you happen to be unfortunately working that day, and wouldn't that be you beat cancer and you got killed by a bomb? Yeah, that would suck.
What a positive outlook on life you have.
I know. Come on, man.
Yeah, your insurance don't pay then. Well, if you're blown up, there ain't much left of you anyways. So,
No, I think she would be paid. That death benefit would be paid, and same with a tornado. But it leads to another more education, I guess. Is all insurance companies have this within the first 2 years of the policy. Number one, if the covered individual deceases due to suicide, it's not eligible, but the family would receive the premiums that were paid into the policy.
Is that 12 months or 13 months, Don? I forget this.
No, it's 2 years, 24 months. 2 years.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
2 years.
Right.
And the only other thing would be if somebody becomes deceased due to illness that they intentionally did not disclose during the underwriting, the application process, that could be deemed fraud, and then that would not be covered as well or eligible. And that's just first 2 years.
Do you remember when the pandemic started and they were offering, at least the company I worked for, they were saying, go out and if somebody has insurance, if Sharon's got $100,000 insurance, she wants more. It's not as tough to get it for her because she already has it in place. Well, I sold it to a gentleman in Niagara Falls, New York. Super nice dude, really nice. He was retired, happy-go-lucky guy, non-smoker, took really good care of himself, and he dropped dead 12 days later after he got the policy.
Wow.
So they started to investigate that to figure out, and they were looking with a fine-tooth comb to see if he lied on the application at all. And sure enough, he had heart ailment that he never disclosed.
That he knew about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you can have something and not know about it.
Yeah.
But if you have something and you know about it and you don't disclose it, then they can review that.
I mean, we're living in a world where they're going to find everything out about you. And it goes back to a couple episodes ago where we talked about you got a DWI and you're not telling us about it. Well, that's not really a great idea because they're going to find it anyways.
Yeah.
Or you're diabetic or you're on crazy amount of blood pressure medication. They're going to look 10 years back of every drug you put in your body from the pharmacy.
It's all out there. There's no personal privacy anymore at all.
Any doctor you go to, any time you've committed a crime, any time you've been arrested, or just anything, there's record of it.
What were you arrested for, Sharon?
I've never been arrested. Good try, but I've never been arrested.
You didn't slip up. Look at that.
I've never been caught of anything.
That's different than saying you've never done anything.
Right.
But here's a serious question for you, Sharon, because we're talking about
that Sarah.
looking
I
at
called you Sarah. Oh my God. You guys need name tags.
Her name's right on the screen.
I don't know how to read. I went to Catholic school.
That's right. It took you 12 years before you can graduate
Yes,
from eighth
yes,
grade.
smart Johnny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. No. So when you work with clients, say you're working with buyers, do you ask that they get pre-approved with their mortgage before you start looking for homes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's very, very important that we do a pre-approval process prior to looking for the homes, because you don't want to be going out and looking at, let's say a $600,000 home when your client only then gets approved for a $300,000, and they fell in love with this house and they want it. And they're like, oh
Mm,
my gosh, this is my dream home. I really, really want it. Yes, let's put in an offer. Okay, let's get you pre-approved, and then they get pre-approved for a 350 and they can't have that dream home.
right. Right.
So you want them pre-approved prior to going and looking at homes, so that you are looking at homes within their budget, and then they can find that dream home that is in their budget.
So have you ever worked with a client? Obviously, no names or anything, but have you ever worked with a client that, um, after they sit down with you and you explain the whole process, and you ask them, let's get pre-approved first, and then maybe they come back and said, you know what, we could not get pre-approved, maybe because of a prior DUI or something else on their record. Has that ever happened to you?
Well, DUIs don't have anything to do with their financials. Um, so I have clients, yes, that are like, currently I even have clients that are not pre-approved. I've already got them under buyer's agreements, because right now you have to have, I mean, I've always done it, but right now it's mandatory to have buyer's agreements before showing homes.
And why don't you explain that? Because I know that's a law that was
A big hot
passed.
ticket, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to have buyer's agreements before showing homes. That's become a mandatory thing due to some lawsuits that got passed. I always did buyer's agreements. It wasn't a mandatory thing before, but I always did it. I've always had buyer's agreements. So to me, it doesn't make a change in my work, because I've always done them. I've always had them. I never would show a house without it, even if I've had people that were like, "Well, I'm not going to sign a full buyer's agreement for like a long period of time," and I'm like, "Okay, well then you can sign it for this house, because I'm
Mhm.
not walking into this house without it." And they're
Yeah.
like, "Okay, well I'll do that."
Oh, good
And
for you.
I've done that before. Like, well, then let's just sign it for this house in particular, because I'm not going to walk you into this house without it. And that was before it became a mandatory thing. And so to me, this doesn't change anything. The only thing that's really changing is that the um, buyer's commission being taken off of the MLS. Um, that's going to be taking place. I believe it's next week.
Mm.
Um,
That's
and
crazy.
so we will have to be doing a lot more communication with the listing agents, to find out, because whatever agreement we made with the buyer's side for our commissions, um, we will have to have that understanding that, if they want to see a house, and let's say the commissions that we've agreed to with the buyer side is 3% or 4%, we can even agree with them on a 5%, whatever we agreed with, maybe
Mhm.
2% or a dollar value, because they have to have that understanding that if the listing side has not agreed to pay a commission to the buyer side, then the buyer is responsible for that money,
Right.
which
Right.
has
That's crazy.
always been the case. It's always been the case. But people were out there saying that no, we're always going to get it from the listing side.
Mhm.
They're responsible for it. No, it's always been on the paperwork that We will try to get it from that side, but if we can't, you're responsible for it.
That's with the
And
buyer's
so,
agreement, you're saying.
yes,
Right.
yes, that's what the buyer's agreement has always said.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, it's like people don't read paperwork. I mean, and I think you understand that, understanding that, people like to sign their life away on stuff and don't read it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got to read the paperwork because it's always been there on the paperwork. It's always said that, that we'll make an attempt to try to get the commissions from the listing agent, from the seller side. But if we can't, guess what? You're responsible for it.
Let
We
me,
don't work for free.
Yeah, no, you can't.
let me
Um,
ask you this, Sharon. With you being in Texas, is the bulk of your out of state buyers still coming from California? And if so, the out of state buyers that you are dealing with, are they still paying cash or are they financing their homes?
um, I have not had a single California person.
So that's pretty much done.
No, I'm not going to say that that's done because I know other people do have California people still.
Mhm.
I've had people from Las Vegas, from New Jersey. I actually have a
New
meeting with somebody from New
Jersey.
Jersey at 2 o'clock. I have a meeting with a family from New Jersey that's moving here.
Nice. Ask them
Um,
what. Ask them what exit they're from.
from what exit they're from,
That's an old bad Jersey joke. Yes.
I'll have to write that down. I can't remember things anymore. But yeah, New York. I mean, I've had people from anywhere but California.
That's
That's
Like,
crazy.
yeah.
so
Well, listen, I thank you for telling us all about that. And we're at Sarah's magical time. And we still have one more question to go to. And it's a doozy. But first of all, we're going to have to boo this guy because it's Jimmy from Miami. And you know he's a Dolphin fan.
Oh boy.
Boo! Boo! You suck, Jimmy! Jimmy from Miami is 62, and it's a great question though. Why does my premiums for my life insurance from my employer keep going up after I retired?
That is. Well, you already said it. That's a great question.
I know I stole Donnie's
There
thunder.
you
I
go.
suck.
That means no shots for anybody.
No,
Uh, it sounds like, although without knowing the details, it sounds like that it's a term insurance policy, and the term insurance policies go up as we age. So if the original term was 10 years and then you renew it for an additional 5 years, the premium's going to go up because we're now 5 years older, 10 years older, etc. If it was a permanent insurance or whole life policy, once you have that premium established, it does not go up. It does not change. So that's
that is a
probably
very
the
good
answer, Joe.
question. Yeah,
so here's a
and you don't even
side,
think about
or
stuff
here's
like
a
that because I mean we
back
gave
question
that
to
advice
this.
to shit.
With it being from his job, can he switch it over from a term to a whole?
Um, Probably not.
I didn't think.
It depends on the carrier, but usually if it's employer provided, that's not it's not a convertible policy. They
I
might be
mean,
able to extend the policy, keep it as term insurance, but most likely cannot convert it to a
like
permanent insurance.
a lot of the carriers, Sharon, will say that if you want whole life insurance for your company, you have to pay for it, and everybody has to get it. I mean, some people can decline it, but they have special postcards set up that the people have to sign that it was offered to them just to cover everybody's butts.
Yeah.
But
So
then it seemed like 9 times out of 10 that if you're offering additional insurances to the employees, it's most of the time it is going to be term. So if you're lucky enough to have an employer that's paying for your whole life, you have a nice mixture of whole life and term. And
right.
me and Donnie worked with a lot of realtors back in New York for mortgage protection. Meaning, I mean, if two people buy a house and their mortgage is based on a dual income and one unexpectedly passes, it'll take care of the mortgage. That's what I always try to do, to provide insurance that's going to take care of the mortgage. So when you're already a mess because you lost, the love of your life, or maybe not the love of your life, that you lost that other part of that other person that is helping you pay for the mortgage. And instead of grieving them, you have to be like, oh my God, how am I going to pay the mortgage? How am I going to take care of the kids? How am I going to put food on the table? Money doesn't buy happiness, but it can actually take care of peace of mind and
That's
make
right.
a horrible time you're going through just a tiny bit better.
Very true.
So, well, we had this is a great show today. I enjoyed all of your questions. Keep on sending them to us.
Yes.
In fact, Donnie's got a good one for next week that we're saving for next week because I know we were going to be a little bit short on time today. I want to thank you for coming on at the last minute, Sharon. I do appreciate it, and I'm sure our numbers on this show will go through the roof again because you are on it and you're awesome. So
That's all you use me for is your numbers. I
I'm
get
a
it.
user. I'm a user. Yes. So, if anybody wants to get a hold of Sharon, you can go to www.ebiagency.com, or you can actually call our hotline 716-306-2020, and we will get the information to Sharon.
Yeah.
Or just call me.
What's your number, Sharon?
469-545-3117.
Hi, that ain't the number you gave me. Smart girl. But once again, thank you for being here. I'm glad you're doing so well. I can't wait to see your new boobs. That's going to be fabulous. Show them to everybody. Show them to the world, Sharon.
Is this not a family show or what?
Not anymore.
Not with
Not
him.
anymore.
Not
Never
with
has been.
him.
Never has been. So
Not
for
with
me, Eddie.
him. Go that direction. Not with him.
So, for your buddy, me, Eddie Buffalo, Donnie Lowe, and our special guest, Sharon Raiders. Thank you for being with us, and tune in tomorrow for What's Tomorrow, Don?
Well, we kind of changed it. It's the Potluck Thursday.
Well, let's say the right title, Donnie Lowe's Potluck Thursday. That's exactly what it is because it started trending last week, Sharon, even though Donnie hates that name.
Potluck Thursday? Okay.
Yeah.
And I am having a lot of fun with the whole presidential thing that I'm messing around with on the side. And, Don, you're on the short list for VP. I got to tell you, I want you to think about it hard, and I want an answer tomorrow.
No, because you're going to disappoint me and not select me.
Well, hey,
maybe that won't disappoint me. I don't know.
Maybe we'll talk later. Don.
What, do you have some dirt on your fingers or something?
Yes, yeah, a little dirt on there. So, thank you for joining us and tune in tomorrow. And that's it. So
Thank
do
you.
your thing, Don, like you always do.
Ciao.
What's like?
I moved the button again.
Yeah, I hate it when you move that button. So, all right, everybody, take care. Thanks again, Sharon. Bye.
Bye.